Companies that one or two types of innovation, there are 34 companies in our data. It's the next line above. The 59 companies at 3 to 4. And those that are 5+ companies literally have double the performance. If you think about, again, just over that 5-year period. And again, this is a quantitative validation of some of the perspectives I've been sharing. The second part is organization, and I'll use Whole Foods as an example. I'm sure a lot of you have walked into Whole Foods and in some cases been surprised to see alcohol being sold in a grocery store. It's like, really? And it was an idea that one of the stores in Santa Rosa, California came up with. Again, no direction from the center, no direction from corporate headquarters, and they said, you know what, let's try it. People come here for the alcohol, they buy wine. Why can't we set up a cool environment that's not a bar? It doesn't have sort of the dinginess and sort of the stigma of a bar. And let's try it. And guess what? Within a few weeks, the little bar that was open in the Santa Rosa store far exceeded the sales of like the seafood, the business. And very quickly, literally through, again, no effort from corporate, sort of a recipe, the floor plans got sent from store to store to store, and there's over 80 stores now that have bars. Even the CEO was actually surprised. He said, who would have thought that a bar in a grocery store would be something that would be successful? And this came entirely from the employees. It entirely came from an environment that fostered innovation, allowed employees to experiment, to try, and see where it ended up. This doesn't just apply to high-tech companies. So Cemex is a company that's in the building materials area, and they provide really high-quality products. And one of the things that they wanted to do was really focus on using social media and social networking of their employees to be innovative. So they set up an environment where they wanted to basically, they funded it. They were looking for ways of attracting talent. So sometimes it's hard to attract talent in very staid, traditional industries. And so they made a push to really raise the game in terms of what their talent needs were. And again, developed online capabilities for great ideas and had tremendous success and tremendous performance as a result of it. And the last key area is metrics and incentives. There's an old saying that says, you treasure what you measure. And if you don't align the organization with the strategic aspects of where you're trying to go, you won't be successful. Procter & Gamble is a great example. Ever since Lafley became CEO in the 2000s, they've worked really, really hard at making sure that innovation was right in the heart and center of what they did. And what comes with that is the willingness to fail. Because you're never going to be 100% on every bet that you make in terms of the concepts and the ideas that you innovate on. But you got to learn from those mistakes. You got to learn from experimenting. You got to learn from, and you got to allow your employees to be comfortable trying new things. If you're in an environment where the risk tolerance is so low, no one's going to try anything. You're never going to have innovative products. You're never going to have, you want to have failures, but at the same time you want to have high returns. And your competitors are either going to outrun you, or they will disrupt what you're doing. They'll find an alternative way to disrupt you. So again, P&G also has great R&D departments, but Lafley has also said 50% of what they do will come from outside the organization and not internal. And you see that in things that we all consume. Those are ideas that come from us, in terms of what we like or we don't like. Listening to social media, listening to ideas, being in an environment where you have innovation centers that aren't just based on internal folks, but really collaborations or alliances with other organizations. So what does this mean for your people? Is you can't really expect to do things differently if you don't really focus on what you need going forward. So the first thing is, you will need people to do different things. You need people who will challenge the status quo. You need people who will really be willing to stand up and say, you know what, I don't think this is right. I think there's an opportunity for us to do something better. So that's the first part. The second, you will need some different people. You will need people with different skills, different capabilities, different competencies, different perspectives around where you want to take the organization. The third is you'll need different elements of your talent model. So you'll need to look at where you're acquiring talent, where in the ecosystem you're really going to be able to find and identify the people that you want. You can't just go back to the same recruiting agencies or the same schools or focus on the same competencies if you can't hire the kind of talent that you need. And then the last is you need people who are really passionate about it. It's not easy to be innovative. You need entrepreneurs in your organization. You need to create an environment where entrepreneurs can be successful. And that's not always easy in a traditional organization. They're outliers in some cases. They have different perspectives, they have different ideas, they don't quite fit. But these are people that, might have the long ponytails and the best ideas, and you need to make sure that you include them as part of what you're looking at. So the few things that you need to make sure you get right, make sure you get your goals right, make sure you get your design right, make sure you introduce new behaviors. I'm going to end on just a little anecdote on innovation. And basically, there's a person that was driving along the highway, and he was driving at about 50 miles an hour, and he saw a chicken running alongside him. And he was startled, and he accelerated to 60, and the chicken kept up with him. And he speeded up even further. He went at 75 miles per hour, and the chicken basically passed him by. He was gone. Zoom. So the man noticed the chicken had 3 legs. And so he followed the chicken, and he ended up at a farmhouse. And at the farmhouse, he got out of the car, and he saw that all the chickens there had 3 legs. Oh. So he went to the farmer and said, "What's up with these chickens?" And the farmer said, "Well, everybody likes chicken legs. So I bred a 3-legged bird. And I'm going to be a millionaire." So the man asked, "How do they taste?" And he said, "I don't know, I haven't caught one yet." So don't let innovation get too far out of yourselves. But again, thank you for the opportunity to share my perspective.
If anybody has any questions for Kapadia, please. For us. You have to be really loud.
Just one question.
Yeah.
The companies you named as innovators, example of innovators, you seem to be all U.S. companies, unless I'm mistaken.
No.
Is innovation sort of a U.S. monopoly?
No. So the presentation is very focused on the US. Absolutely. There's tons of innovation. The same concept applies. U.S. obviously one of the larger consumer markets, but there's tons of innovation happening in that. Great point. Thank you.
Except for values here, most of us are professionals. What advice would you give us in terms of entering business, business opportunities?
So entering and starting a new business? Yeah. So starting a new business is looking really to see what you have that would be differentiating from others. And what it would be that would be a barrier to entry for others. So in some cases, looking at the market, assessing what you've got by way of competitors, it depends on the kind of business you're trying to enter, and then seeing if there's a viable business case to be made to make money in that space. Now, if there are already businesses in that market, and you've got an idea, again, how to develop an sort of agency that might be different, then that's something that's really important to focus. I'll use sorry, I'm back to you. So Southwest Airlines is a great example. So Southwest Airlines started not to compete with airlines. So you think about why Southwest Airlines started, because there was a job to be done to move people from point A to point B, but they weren't competing with airlines. They were competing with people who drove, and they were competing with people who took the Greyhound. So when they started on the cheap. They had one plane. If you remember, they started with one plane, and then they bought a fleet of planes that were identical, so that they could have high turnaround, high utilization, and very slowly they start by disrupting other forms of transportation. Well, today, they're competing head-on with every major airline, and for a while they were the only ones that were making money. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a place that's completely open or new, but you need something that's unique and different that'll give you an advantage and allow you to sort of enter the market. It doesn't have to be the best. It has to be good enough. And most often people don't think about, okay, so what does good enough mean? And how can I get people to buy what I'm selling by being just good enough? And that good enough will allow you to enter the market, and then you can innovate. You can start getting better and better and better. But you have to enter and disrupt the existing providers.
Okay, thank you for us.
That's one way we get rid of competition.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask a question according to you. What would you term as a priority for making money for an entrepreneur to start a business from 1 to 5? Where would that go?
The priorities. Again, you gotta have an idea, obviously, and something, like I said, something that's unique and distinctive enough. You can make money by a Me Too, but yes, go ahead. You got a question?
No, that's not what I was asking. Like,
Yeah.
What drives an entrepreneur? What are maybe the first 5 things that drive an entrepreneur to start a business? Is money making the first thing? Or
No, it's usually passion. It's passion on an important idea. And actually money is probably the last thing that comes about that. And then the ability to sell that idea. And it's a double-edged sword, because you may have a passion for an idea, it just isn't a good idea. So you need to really sort of think about and make sure that there's a market for it. There's a practical way of taking it and generating. But there's lots of examples of folks who really have a passion for something, tried it, tested it, and then it's just taken off. Thanks. Yes.
Homi, one of the things that makes Goblin so successful is their extensive, long-term research that they do, field research that they do within communities. Can you expand a little bit about that?
Sure. So again, being able to speak to outcomes and results is really based on looking at historical data and projecting. So it's hard to be credible with even some of the concepts that are in here without having examples. And again, if you get the 10 types of innovation book, you'll see examples of every one of the innovation types. And it'd be important, again, for you to sort of think about in your business, what other things that would be adjacent? If you're a hospital, what are the other adjacencies? Is children in adjacency? Is other therapeutic areas in adjacency? So again, a lot depends on the business that you're in. But Goblin's focus, again, is all about innovation and really been in the business of studying innovation and what makes innovation successful. So thanks for that question.
There's one more question.
The statistics suggest that 9 out of 10 new businesses fail.
Yeah.
And today, on the other hand, you have young person with an MBA can climb the corporate ladder and become a CEO and make $100 million with compensation. So what model should a young person choose to be an entrepreneur or climb the corporate ladder?
Again, this is a classic it depends answer. I would say this generation, again, I'm generalizing, so forgive any from the generation that's coming up. This generation is anxious for results, and they're looking for organizations to be more than just there for money. They're looking for social causes. They're looking for organizations that have a conscience, that organizations that are really looking for making change and making things better for people in this world. They're looking for organizations that aren't just making healthcare products or pharmaceutical products for their shareholders. They're looking for success in Africa. They're looking for success in India. They're looking for really eliminating disease in the world. So again, a lot depends on your individual passion, on the individual's perspective. There are safe paths, obviously, in terms of the corporate ladder. There are opportunities for being an entrepreneur and taking a chance. But just like trying to be a professional athlete, odds are pretty slim. Yes, you can make a lot of money if you're successful, but very few actually, have a new Facebook, or very few have a new Uber that they come up with. So it's really an it depends answer. Thanks.
How do you rank, or where do you rank the corporate social responsibility in your model of innovation?
Yeah, very, very good question. I'd say pretty high. And again, the world is demanding it. Corporations, I see much more of a focus around corporate responsibility. A lot of times it's in the core values of organizations. Employees are demanding it, so it's not just one where corporations are doing it. Employees really value working for companies that are focused on social issues and are helping make a difference beyond, again, the business that they're doing. So it was pretty high. Yes.
Homi, hi. I was in the FEZANA meeting the whole day today, and
Yeah.
a lot of organizations talking about fundraising efforts. Everybody wants to have their own Darbe.
Yes.
And so does this principle of innovation, do you know in your experience, also apply to fundraising? Do you have examples to give us on that?
Great question.
You repeat it?
I'm not sure.
Can you repeat the question?
The question was, can you apply the concepts of innovation to fundraising? Like the conversation you had today around Darbe and I think there's some good perspectives around strategy that are core to one, what the objectives of the Darbe are, what the sort of the rationale and obviously the cost and the ability for the community to support the number of Darbe. Is there potential to share? But I see that more sort of a strategy question than an innovation question. Yeah.
I actually have a follow-up question. There are organizations in consulting for nonprofits
Correct.
that actually help nonprofits do things like fundraising.
Correct.
Using extremely similar methods we talked about.
Yeah, I have no doubt, but
I mean, the reason I'm saying this is I've actually worked with some of them, and
Okay.
I do work in metrics and those. So if there was a question you required some help on, I could come and take on and meet you. And
We all need that.
you gotta volunteer.
Good.
Thanks.
In what areas should someone be focusing if they're trying to innovate in a purely service-based industry?
So I would again go back to all the 10 types. So even in a service organization, you need to think about the business that you're in. So if you're serving a certain industry and you're looking to grow, one, can you grow in the core? So absolutely, you can focus on bigger geographies. You can focus on adjacent states, or you can start looking at adjacent services. So you can start looking at, are there, if you're in a service organization serving a certain kind of population for a certain kind of therapeutic area, are there other therapeutic areas that are adjacencies? Then if you want to look at sort of what is transformational, so if you want to go from service organization. I'll just pick healthcare. I don't know what industry you're focusing on, but if it's healthcare, if you're then looking at something transformational where you want to enter surgery and start developing surgical centers, that's a big step. So I wouldn't call that an adjacency. It's a big step. You need different infrastructure. You need different capabilities. You need different talent. You need surgeons. You need sort of other capabilities and talent that you would have. So it depends on how much of a change you want to make from what you're doing today.
Thank you.
Sure.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
1 year
No. Just loud.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe you need.
I'll go back.
You just go back there, please.
One year of multiple layoffs when 2 companies merge. What is the CEO's responsibility towards those who are fired?
Great question. So the question was, what is the CEO's responsibility in companies when companies merge? So, it's a great question, it's a tough question. And a tough question because companies merge today for lots of different reasons, but most of the reasons today are around synergies. So around being able to do more with less. So doing more with less, by definition, implies that there's going to be some employees that aren't going to be there post-merger. I would say the CEO's responsibility is to be as professional, as transparent, and really use the appropriate process to pick the right people. So it's not necessarily based on tenure, it's not necessarily based on which company is buying which company, it's really based on level, and we are involved in a lot of merger integration projects where level by level you really focus on identifying the best person for a given role. Because you do have 2 of everybody. You do have 2 sales managers, and you have 2 district managers, and you have 2 VPs of sales, and you have 2 R&D organizers. So the fact remains that you want to make sure you find the best person. The other thing is you don't want to lose the talent. So there are many examples where organizations have put key individuals in other roles. And we train them or focus them because, again, they are high talent individuals. But net, there is going to be a transition of some people.
Anyone else? Okay.
Well, again, thank you very much.
That was excellent. Homi, can I be your team? That would be good.
You've been very successful yourself.
I would like to ask Madam President. Tokens of appreciation.
Thank you.
Natalie, Ms. Kandi, please. Natalie thinks she can run away, but that's not going to happen. She's going to work harder and harder. That is your rule. And being a full-time mother, full-time employee, and you see, we appreciate you. And I would like to announce Gandhi, has been with us forever, and we're going to keep him. We really appreciate. Singapore and always on my side and supporting me. Thank you very much. Well, at this moment, I'd like to ask President of ZAGNY, Kapadia, some few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Darius. Actually, I asked Darius if I could speak for a minute, and it's not going to be a surprise that it's a sales pitch. All of you by now have heard that we at ZAGNY are building annual WZCC, and we certainly put ourselves on the spot when we decided to start construction before we completed the whole fundraising aspect. So we've been on a fundraising pitch all the time. We're very grateful for ZAPANJ allowing us to bring one of our better products, success stories, if you will, on fundraising, the yard roses who still voted, where we sold clear over 1,000 already at $100 a piece. They are at the back end of the table there, and so all of you do have a look. It's a must-have for us. The big news is that we can now ship globally, so you can send it as a gift anywhere you want. While we are here, I might as well also mention that ZAPANJ to Zakuji has reinvigorated their attempts, and they have a beautiful gala sari that they're raffling off today. I think the tickets are $20 each, but if you buy 3, it's $50. Now we heard about innovation, and somebody asked the question, how do you innovate with fundraising? So we're going to make a spur-of-the-moment innovative decision right now. For those of you who can show us the 3 tickets that you bought for the gala sari, you can get the voted today, and only today, not for $100, but for $85. Now, I have a photographic memory, and I've seen everybody that clapped right now. Now, when you leave, if I don't see that voted in your hand, there's a problem. Everybody, thank you.
I would like to thank FEZANA and ZAPANJ for giving us such an opportunity, and you guys know how to plan. And thanks for all of you, thank you one by one. And now, especially my family, my wife Linda, my son Kian, and my daughter Tara. Thank you for your support.
Now I would like to invite to come up here and talk about the Gara and the fundraising that they are doing. And then we have a little bit of networking break, so just bear with us. Thank you.
So we are currently raffling the Gara. The drawing is not today. The drawing is going to be on the Memorial Day weekend. And we are actively selling the tickets because we want our dream to come true. And we want a center for the Zoroastrian Association of Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So make our dream come true and buy as many tickets as you can. $50 for 3 tickets, and it will help us tremendously. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of FEZANA, I'd like to thank ZAPANJ for hosting this evening and for also hosting the AGM. Thank you, Homi, the ZAPANJ board. I have a small token gift from FEZANA to ZAPANJ.
I would like to invite my board members too, and all the volunteers up here on the stage. I mean, up here on the, just so that, like, you know, I would like everybody to appreciate all the hard work that they have also put in. Actually, there are two new board members. This is Minash Damania, Marazban Sarkari, Dinas Italia, and Tanas Daru. And this is our Dr. who is Marazban's wife. All those other volunteers, Kushal Joki, Harshad Unwala, who is not here today, Cyrus Mesa, Shirin Jahanian, and I will say my thanks towards them, but these are all the people who were involved with, finalizing all the details, working out the details, sending out so many numerous emails that we had to go through, but I just wanted to take a moment and thank everybody. I've been asked to say my thank you speech right now, and then everybody can enjoy the evening. So here it is. I hope everyone has been enjoying the evening so far. It has taken us many months to organize and work on the details of this AGM. All those involved with the planning of this AGM have written or have received numerous emails regarding how things need to be taken care of. Today, as we are almost wrapping up this beautiful weekend, I just wanted to take a moment here and acknowledge the awesome team, all those members, and plus some of the members are not here today. That I was so lucky to work with all of them these past several months. I would like everyone to give a big round of applause at the end of this list. Please bear with me, it's going to take a little while. For the venue planning and selection, it was Harshad Unwala, Vakil Unwala, Hutakshi Sarkari, Minash Damania. Friday evening, the potluck that everybody enjoyed yesterday, the volunteers and those people who have cooked were Hutakshi Sarkari, Cyrus Mehta, Shirin Jahanian, Treni Ramji, Tanas Daruwala Medora, Harshad Vakil Unwala, and Kushal Joki. A special thanks goes also to caterers, advisor and support for the banquet, Nenshad Maneksha, who is right here. Transportation and centerpiece arrangements for the banquet, Dinas Italia, who is here. Kids entertainment for the banquet, Hutakshi Sarkari. Audiovisual planning and support, Marazban Sarkari, Jangir Nakra, who is not here today, was also a major part of our planning. Farzad Irani and Fali Sidwa, who are here today. Music arrangements for the banquet, Dinas Italia and Minash Damania. We would also like ZAPANJ board and ZAPANJ members would also like to thank Kapadia, Zenobia Gamania, Adel Dower, and all those involved directly with FEZANA administration for all of their help and support in planning the banquet event. We would additionally like to thank the FEZANA executive for guiding and supporting our endeavor to host the AGM. Thanks to all those ZAPANJ, ZAGNY, WZCC members who are present with us today at this banquet, as well as all the delegates and all those who have come from far and near to come together for this AGM, and all of their hard work and efforts to plan and bring together the North America community. Thank you everyone, and I hope I'm not forgotten anybody, but if so, I'm just going to thank them for everything. Thank you.
As we have been talking about that this is a joint event, and we've mentioned WZCC a lot of times, we have with us here the WZCC New York chapter, Adel Dower and Jim Shibian. And this is an opportunity for ZAPANJ to either join hands with the WZCC New York chapter and have some joint events. And also we have a whole bunch of young professionals and entrepreneurs here. Adel, you have the floor. Let's see what you can do.
I wasn't planning to say anything, but Kapadia said we must sort of explain a little bit about WZCC. As you know, we have an active chapter in New York for the last 15 years. Right now, with the new WZCC coming up, we don't have a location. This opportunity came about and we said, let's have the function at ZAPANJ. This will also introduce ZAPANJ to the concept of WZC. We'll try and have maybe joint functions, maybe something closer to Princeton, so it's halfway. And also we'd love to start a new chapter in Philadelphia. So there are a lot of young people, I'm told. If you take the initiative, please start a WZC chapter. The purpose of WZC is to promote entrepreneurship.